Welcome to the Bros Talking Soccer podcast, a podcast where three brothers talk about what's happening in American and European soccer. It is episode 131. What is that, Christian?
So what three brothers?
The Knittel brothers. I am Dave, the eldest Knittel brother. That is Christian chiming in, the middle one, the troublemaker. He is chiming in. Christian, say hello.
Oh, hey, this is me here.
Oh, hey, Christian.
And then we got Matt here, who's sleeveless and showing off his guns. Matt, say hello.
Hello. So, fun fact for all the YouTube viewers: Dave got married in this shirt.
Yep. Sleeveless.
Was that actually on underneath your shirt?
Yep.
100%.
100%.
Making sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
And he gave it to his youngest brother to have.
Yes. Okay, so we are three brothers. We talk about what's happening in American and European soccer. This is our final recording live on YouTube for at least the foreseeable future. They're changing everything up on August 1st. We will still have two more interviews before August 1st on this channel, but it's the last one where all three of us are going to be together. Guys, are you sad? Christian?
Well, we're going to be together next week.
I know, but Matt's going to be in Houston, so...
Well, we're going to be together.
Yes. Okay. Matthew, any final words from YouTube? Are you going to miss this live interaction? I mean, we're still going to record videos and upload them from Skype.
Oh, wait.
So.
This isn't our last podcast ever?
No, it's just viewers and listeners will not be able to interact with us live. Okay. All right. I think
we still going to post, just so that the YouTube viewers know now, are we still going to post our topics and have people ask questions like as we post the topics, like on Twitter or something?
Not really, because we don't get a ton.
You can't live listen then, right?
Yeah.
They can't live listen, but they could like make a comment, I guess. But, you know what? Never mind. Forget it. Just forget it. Is Matt gone now?
Matt is gone now. Okay. Oh, he's back. All right. There he is. Oh, nope. He's froze. Oh, and he's back. Okay.
No, he's
That's going to be fun throughout this recording. Sal, thank you for joining us. There you go. Drink to celebrate the end. Yes. And like we said, it's not the end of the podcast. You can still upload the videos. You know what we could do? We could schedule them. We could drink.
It's true.
I actually have to drink a bottle of wine tonight, so I'm going to be doing that.
You have to?
No, it's half bottle. It's open. We're both leaving, so I'm not going to leave it here for it to go bad. So we have to drink. It's not going to be a lot. But you know what we could do? We can schedule the podcast at a certain time. Then we could all join and watch it together, and that'll be so much fun. I'm sure we'll definitely do that. All right, guys, let's get into the podcast. Any final thoughts, questions? No claw because Sal's talking shit on the claw, Matt.
Wow. Nothing can stop the claw.
I think I ran out of claws after the weekend.
Yeah.
Liar, liar. Anybody who didn't get that reference.
Yep, we got it.
YouTube.
Christian.
I know you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Welcome to episode 131 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. My name is Dave Knittel, and on this podcast, we talk about what's happening in American and European soccer. We are three brothers. I structured that whole intro way out of whack, but my name is Dave Knittel, the eldest Knittel brother. I'm here with Christian and Matt. Christian, hello. How are you doing today? You're the middle one.
I am the middle one. That's a good point there. You're doing a really good job, Dave. Keep up the good work here.
Thank
early
you.
on here.
Oh my gosh, that means so much to me.
I like that you mix it up a little bit.
It
was getting a little stale.
On their toes.
I mean, if you're gonna be our host, you gotta freshen it up every once in a while.
All of us are technically hosts, but thank
Dave,
you.
If you're gonna be our host,
Matthew, little Knittel, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, eldest Knittel. Thank you for asking. I had a friend in town for Houston this weekend, so went around Houston showing him just kind of places and drinking a lot. So kind of recovering now.
All right.
So I feel like because Dave doesn't have an iddle, like me and Matt have middle and little, Dave, we should go with the D because Dave's his name and call him Diddle.
No.
Ooh.
Absolutely not.
That
one's not going to work. Yeah.
Hi,
that one will not work. Yeah, we got to come up with another one.
One?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I was Kristen, my wife, had friends visiting, so I was entertaining this weekend as well. So we went to the vineyard that we go to out here, kind of near San Jose, on Friday. That was a lot of fun, and then on Saturday we were touring all around San Francisco, and that was a lot of fun. We were out late, drinking and all that, and I don't really do that too much anymore. So I was like a normal, like, social person, guys, and it was it was all right. I survived.
Like people were there.
People were there. Yep. Yep.
Wow.
I was
Did you
around
tell them to
people.
listen to the podcast?
I did not. No. Yeah, that didn't come up.
Please
If-
listen.
Yes, please listen. Please tell your friends about this podcast. So real quick, before we get to the trivia question, we have t-shirts for sale until August 5th. They are $20 for 3 of the designs, the normal, the V-cut, and the women's cut. And then the $25 version is a tri-blend. It's a slightly different material. It costs more. And so that's why we have to charge a little bit more. Both are high quality materials, and they both help support us, and $2 from every shirt sold will go to One Goal United, an awesome soccer-related charity that's helping people in the inner cities and developing nations. Last thing, we recently implemented buy us a shot, and shot is in quotation marks, so you can buy us 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 10 shots. Each shot is worth $3, and it's basically kind of like a tip or donation. It goes to help support the show. It's kind of like buy us a coffee, and I mean, that's the site. It's just we could rename it, and so it's buy us a shot. I do want to shout out John A for buying us a shot, so we always appreciate that. So thank you very much for that. And you can do that on our website, brostalkingsoccer.com. So if you're feeling generous, if you like what we're doing here, please consider doing that. Christian, over to you for our trivia question.
Our trivia question this week is going to be related to the Spain national team. So, can you name the player that is in the top 4 for both assists and goals in his Spanish career?
National team?
National team.
Okay.
Yep. And so think about that. And then we're going to go over to Matt for Matt's Megs.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Christian, for that lovely intro and question.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, everyone, welcome to Matt's Megs. So this week we'll be talking again about Liverpool and Man City, our favorite teams. Me as a City supporter, other two as a Liverpool. Oh yeah, Christian, light blue, big City guy as well. But we'll start with talking about Liverpool. Red shorts. Okay, yeah, we'll start talking about Liverpool. So the last, if I'm not wrong, last 4 preseason games, they've gone winless, with only getting a draw in 1 game, as Christian and Dave are taking this very seriously right now. Okay, Dave, I'll start with you. You're more composed. What do you think of this current stretch of games for Liverpool?
So, as I've said before, I'm not overly concerned about this. Klopp has been there for more than 4 years at this point. A lot of the players have been there for a long time. They haven't signed too many new players, and so people know what to expect. And I'm not, it's preseason. The games ultimately don't matter. They still have a decent amount of their first team on holiday. Mane's not in camp. I don't think Alisson is there. Is Salah there?
No, they just started today. Alisson, Firmino, and Salah all came in today, Monday, the 29th.
Exactly. So I'm not overly concerned with these results. I mean, it'd be awesome if they were crushing everybody, but I'm not going to be too worried about these.
Okay. Christian, what about you?
So I wasn't worried at all about any of these games until the Napoli game most recently. So they're back in Europe, and yeah, they just did a lot of traveling, but they lose 3-0 with probably their starting back 5 other than Alisson. They had Fabinho, Van Dijk, Matip, Andy, and Trent Alexander-Arnold at the back. That's not good that they're giving up 3 goals. Yeah, they didn't play the whole game, and I think they gave up the first 2 goals, and then they were off for the last one. But that's still a very worrying sign that their back line that has been played together and that has been known to be so stout was conceding chances. And again, I think that we undervalue what their front line really does defensively in pressuring on the ball, because they're so quick and they're so tenacious to win back the ball, and they're great outlets to just keep the ball and beat a man and just get the team to move up the field. But they did have most of their stars in the game, and really the only players that were missing are the front 3, which again are big players, and then Keita and Shaqiri that make a difference to this team. Everyone else really was players that are going to impact the season. And I think it was Ox, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Milner. They were playing a lot of center mids, so they really had no width in this game other than maybe Ox and Origi. But yeah, this game was the only one that I actually was worried about. The rest of them, I don't think you need to really look at because they were playing most of their youngsters.
I think in one response, Christian just named every single player in Liverpool's active roster, which was pretty impressive in a single go. So that was interesting to hear. But I think I kind of agree with you, Christian. But the thing that like really worried me, it wasn't that it was just the starters. It was just that it was like 4 games consecutively. Where you lose like 1 or 2 games out of these 4, you'd be like, all right, whatever. But the fact that you win none of them, I feel like then you start to worry because they play Man City next week. City, I think they technically lost 1 game on PKs, but other than that, they've won the rest. It was a 0-0 game against, I think, Wolves. Big supporter of Wolves. Yeah, I think they're going to do great again this year, but you're looking for your scarf, Dave. Yeah, I think City might just completely destroy them next week as the way it's looking like. Dave, do you think – okay, so before you answer that, does the Community Shield or whatever it's called now, is it the Charity Shield or Charity Cup?
Let's just go with the Community because that's what we've known it to be for so long. Okay,
Community Shield. Does it matter at all?
No.
But is it a piece of silverware?
Physically, yes. In most supporters' eyes, in most clubs' eyes, no, it's not counted as an official trophy. When I do my soccer tavern videos, I do not count charity or community shields in those because ultimately it's a one-off. Oftentimes there's a lot of roster turnover anyways. I mean, that's not necessarily the case with Liverpool and City, but it's kind of like a kickoff celebratory event that is more or less meaningless for me.
Okay, what about the Super Cup? Is that the
same thing? I mean, it's interesting. It's a good way to kick off the European seasons and the domestic seasons, but ultimately the result doesn't matter that much to me as a supporter, to most fans, and I don't even think it means that much to the clubs. I mean, at the end of the year, nobody looks back and say, well, at least we won the Community Shield,
All right, fair enough. Christian, what do you think about the
maybe if you don't win anything, you do. But yeah.
I don't even think. I think that almost makes it worse.
I would say that Klopp, what he said today, really sums up what this game is. If you win it, nobody cares. If you lose it, people care. And that's really what it is. The people look at it as, oh, you didn't win? Then you guys are going to have a terrible season. You guys are in bad form going into the kickoff of the year. These are the 2 best teams from England, and they're clearly far and away the best 2 teams from last year. I think other teams have strengthened, and they will catch up a little bit, but these 2 teams are the favorites, and clearly so still. It's going to be a good game. I think Liverpool, again, in preseason, we're clearly missing their stars up front, and Man City are the clear favorites for this game, in my opinion, just based off of their talent and the way that they play. They can play pretty much anyone, and that system is just set up to win games. And it's insane how good Pep Guardiola is at tactical management, but it's going to be a very, very entertaining game, in my opinion. No, it doesn't matter, though.
Okay, fair enough. I think I think at this point, because Liverpool spent 1.6 million in this transfer window. I know we talked about this before, but as the other teams have been spending, Arsenal put in 120 million this summer. I think Tottenham put in 80 or 90 million. Side note, how crazy is that Aston Villa has put all this money into the team? That's great. Maybe they'll be like Wolves this year. So
or they'll be like Fulham.
Yeah, or they'll be like Fulham. But I just think the top 2 might be caught a little bit, especially with Liverpool not spending. I think Tottenham, and who did Tottenham beat with Harry Kane's crazy goal?
Juve.
Yeah, Tottenham beat Juve in preseason, and they looked good. And
but everybody's in different levels of preseason, right? Chelsea just beat Barcelona, but it was Barcelona's first week of preseason. It was Chelsea's 3rd. So and Serie A starts later. So I really don't think you can factor too much into preseason results, but I do I am happy that you brought up, Matt, the point about Liverpool not signing anyone. I haven't been overly concerned until I guess Klein just went down. He tore his ACL. So I guess he's going to be out the full year. And so I am slightly worried.
I think I saw he's only out until the start of the year or February.
Okay. Well, who knows what shape he's going to be in, when he comes back. So let's just say he's out for the majority of the year. We are getting Lallana back. We're getting Ox back. I think Keita is going to be a different player this season. I think it's very tough coming into a new country, assimilating to the culture and playing on a new team. I think he's going to be a rejuvenated player. So from those aspects, I am, still feeling okay, but it would be nice if they signed, one or two winger depth. I think I would feel slightly better. But at the end of the day, I mean, I am still feeling confident in this team. It's just, I don't think they're going to be 20 points better than everybody else. I think City and Liverpool will both slide back a bit.
Yeah, I think Klopp has done a good job of addressing the fact that they have a lot of young talent, and unless they're sold off, he's not going to bring anybody else in, and he really is putting his faith in them. I think Harry Wilson is a very, very good talent on the wing as a backup. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but he's a good player to bring in. Shaqiri obviously is going to be a huge player to come back from his injury, and I think he'll be back in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And Lallana, if he could just be healthy, he could be a very integral part of that Liverpool team, specifically off the bench. I don't think he's a starter, but he's just Keita, I agree, is going to be a key player for Liverpool this year, and he will be a starter eventually if he gets back and gets healthy and in the swing of things. But yeah, I think that the youth players are the key. With Ryan Brewster, I have a lot of faith in, and I think that Wilson can be a star on the wing as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, I still think Arsenal is gonna maybe make a top 4 push this year. I mean, Pepe
Going back home.
Yeah, going back and forth. Yeah, this Pepe guy. I mean, he was sought after like most big clubs. So he's got talent. I think they got him for like 80 million. I don't understand their transfer budget where they announced they have like a 50 million transfer budget and then like doubled it in one transfer. So that made no sense to me. But that has nothing to do with financial fair play, right? The owner's just cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Since we're talking about transfers, anything else you guys want to add on this?
Yes. I want to get your opinion on something for Man City here. If Sanè really does go to Bayern, are you concerned about their backup here, or do you think?
Literally my next topic. Okay. So,
excellent transition.
How I was going to phrase that too. So I'm not worried kind of at all because if he leaves like this weekend, we have an extra whatever million to spend. And I know we still have people on the radar that we're not pulling like the trigger on that we don't need. But if we get $100+ million, we're going to spend it because I think that's the price tag we're looking for, like over 100 million.
Yeah,
is Bayern going to pay that?
Yeah, I saw today that Bayern are willing to pay 80 million, and the negotiations have gone pretty deep at this point. I don't know if that is enough for you specifically, Matt, or what do you think of that?
Matt, would you take $80 million right now?
Probably, David. But no, I still think City is going to be able to get a couple more players. I mean, right back depth. To be honest, I don't even know who our backup right back is at this point.
Danilo's still there.
Oh my God, Danilo, please. Yes, he is. Okay, yeah. So I think we are looking at like today I saw Semedo from Barcelona. If what's his name? The guy Sanè leaves. No, just to bring in money.
To bring in money.
No, you know what I mean. And there's another player. Danny Alves. Yeah, that was the other one, the other right back. But I think we have enough winger depth, and Foden playing more this year in the midfield. But if Foden probably will play more this year in the midfield, and then Bernardo can go play on the wing with his versatility because we have De Bruyne back. So I think players are just going to be shifting a little bit. All right, Dave, what do you think? Since Christian kind of took over that topic, Dave, what do you think about this transfer?
How about Sanè to Bayern?
Yeah.
I think from a City perspective, they would be able to cope with it. I think he is an exciting young player, but I mean, they're stacked for talent and, next man up. I mean, we've seen Bernardo play on the wing. I think he could fill in out there. I mean, depending on where you play Sterling, he could either play on either wing. And then they have other players that, I mean, they would miss him, but I don't think it would be too terrible. From a Bayern perspective, I know that they just lost Ribery and Robin, and they have Davies, they have Gnabry, but I think they're trying to make Davies a left back. And so, I mean, I think it makes sense from both parties. I mean, Sanè being German, I mean, I feel like a lot of the German players end up on Bayern eventually. So it makes sense from a lot of different perspectives. But if I was City, I mean, I don't think you need to mess with a good thing as long as Sanè is happy. And I don't know if he is because I don't know. He seemed a little bit mercurial and, maybe he doesn't love not starting every week. I forgot about Mahrez. He's there too. But so if Sanè can be comfortable staying at City, I think that they're better. But if he's going to be a problem in the locker room, you sell him, get your 80 million and reinvest elsewhere.
Fair enough. Christian, what do you think?
I think that this would be a really, really huge pickup for Bayern Munich. It would be an insane signing because they have Gnabry on one side and Lewandowski through the middle. That front three would have so much pace on the wing, and Lewandowski is just an elite finisher. That would be really terrifying to see coming at you as a defense in the Bundesliga and in the Champions League. But I still just don't know why City would sell him. I think he is an elite level young player that can just become one of the best, if not the best player in the world one day. He has that technical ability. I don't know if he has the mindset right now, but I really think that he is a really great player. But Pep seems to not, I don't know if he just doesn't fit in with Pep's style of play or what, but Pep seems to not want to start him every single week.
Well, he had issues with the German team, so that makes me think that it's a Sanè issue rather than just a him and Pep clashing thing. The fact that he got left off of Löw's side as well for Germany, I think maybe it's something to do with Sanè. I don't know, Matt, you have thoughts?
Well, Sanè basically, I think he played all our important Champions League games, but he got left on the bench for like most of our important Premier League games and just like regular ones. I think he only started like somewhere in like 17 games in the Premier League. Not entirely sure about that one. I think now that I said it out loud, that doesn't make much sense. But yeah, or maybe that was Mahrez that started 17. But yeah, he was left off a lot. I think he played both Liverpool games, but other than that, I think he like sat out most against the other top 6 teams. I mean, Sanè, he's like labeled as having an attitude, but I really don't think so. I mean, he's showing up to camp. He's playing like really well in preseason. He's never like publicly done anything with Pep, so I don't know if it's him or some people just make like the media can make people out to be an enemy if they get left off a World Cup roster, and like he didn't play that well for Germany, so people like immediately said it was an attitude thing. But I mean, at the time, I think he had like 0 goals and 1 assist ever for Germany's national team in all his appearances.
Yeah, so I just did some quick Googling. It looks like a lot of the speculation is that Bayern are going to sign him, and their City is going to go after someone named Michael Oyarzabal. I have no idea who that is.
Sociedad, I want to say. He's the vice captain of Sociedad.
Who?
He's got a very complicated last name.
Oyarzabal. Oyarzabal.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him in FIFA.
All right.
Yeah.
For reference, he made 31 appearances in the Premier League, Matt, last season. Sanè did. I'm not sure how many of those were were off the bench. So,
all right. Yeah. But I still think we'll be able to replace him. I think it's good for City too, like actually having somebody leave our club with value for like once. Usually we kind of use people until they're older. But I think it looks good on the club that you're able to leave and go to other elite teams, even though we still are. I think it looks good for us because he's going to be the first person to ever kind of do that.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah. Christian, you got a problem with that?
No, it's just funny the way you said it. He's going to be the first person to ever do that.
Trailblazer, pioneer.
Hey, I'm happy for him. He did his service with the club. I mean, it's not like you with Sterling. I'm not going to get mad at the guy.
Fuck that guy. No, we're not starting this. Don't even.
It doesn't. Yeah, okay. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
Fuck Sterling.
Sterling's great. All right, thanks everyone for listening to Matt's Megs. Listen to a little bit of music, and we will be right back.
All right, good stuff. Matt, were you wearing headphones the whole time?
Yeah.
Did you hear him echoing a little bit?
No, I just didn't notice the headphones until about halfway through. And then I was like, whoa, did he just put headphones on and I didn't realize? Or was he wearing headphones the whole time and I didn't realize? Turns out it was the latter.
Did he change spots like a little bit?
Yeah, Christian did.
Okay,
I don't know what that was about.
I wanted my lamp to show my full face because there's like a little shadow here.
You gotta get your lighting
so
right.
tan and beautiful now that I need to show the face.
Yeah. I got some weird lighting situation. I really should invest in one of those YouTube lights that just shines
Invest.
Yes. Okay.
Shine like a diamond.
to the stadium scene plug.
Check out our friends at Stadium Scene. If you're going to any stadium in the US or Canada, they have information on where to park near a stadium, what to do around the stadium, what events are happening in the area, what bars and restaurants to go to, and all that good information. Matt, what else do they provide?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like podcasts, blogs, YouTube posts, all that great stuff. Again, check them out at stadiumscene.tv. It's not just soccer, it's all sports North America. Check them out.
Are you doing something here, Dave?
I mean, I'm a part of this podcast.
You gonna do anything, Dave?
Are you staying?
Do you need to be here?
I thought you were just here for the first one this time. Oh, this is awkward. You also didn't announce that I won Quick Kick Picks.
Fuck me. Yeah.
We can
well,
you
yeah.
can do it at the end. It's fine.
Well, we can either do it at the end. Actually, yeah, we'll do it at the end. Let me write it down. We'll do it at the end because I'll mention because Drew's going to be on the podcast for next Sunday. So I'll just mention. I'm interviewing him this week. I'm interviewing him this week.
Aren't we going to have to see him the following Sunday?
Alt tab, Quick Kick Picks champion. Yeah, I don't even know how many people who watch the podcast even know or listen to the podcast know about Quick Kick Picks. I don't know. I don't know if we get a ton of overlap there on our viewers because we get a decent amount. That just
you should check out both. Both are fantastic.
Yes, they should. I would agree with you.
And Matt and I are going to be leading.
On
a Premier League one.
Gruesome twosome.
Okay, we're gonna move along now. That was weird.
You don't watch Sunny?
I watched Sunny.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that though.
Yeah. Well, you didn't watch it close enough.
Okay. It's time for Christian's Corner. Thanks everybody for being here. And I know that was loud, but it's super exciting. Everyone's ready. It's why we're here. And let's hop right in. So Matt, I'll start with you this time. So Eden Hazard, you know him? He plays for Real Madrid now, right?
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So he used to play for Chelsea. He was talking about a guy who just signed for Chelsea, Christian Pulisic. Have you heard of him?
No, who is he?
Oh, yeah. So he's an American. He came from Dortmund.
He got the same name as you. Your name's
God,
Christian.
That's like my name. So I think that Pulisic does have a very high ceiling. Hazard is agreeing. He's saying that Chelsea have signed someone who can become one of the best players in the world. Do you believe that he has that potential? Do you think Hazard means that, or if he's just trying to build someone up from the club he just left?
No, I mean, it seems like he's one of the most highly rated youngsters in the world. I mean, you look at countless lists that come out and do valuations of players, and just all the clubs that were looking at Pulisic and going to Chelsea. I mean, he almost Liverpool were interested in him, and they just won the Champions League. I mean, the top clubs are looking at him.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they didn't get him. No.
No, they did win the Champions League. That's what he was celebrating.
Yeah, but they didn't get Pulisic, so what's it really worth?
The Champions League.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Hazard means it. I mean, when I watch Pulisic play, he's extremely direct. He has great touches. He's a good attacker, through and through. I think he can, be world class.
Very good. Dave, what do you think of Pulisic's potential? And do you think Hazard truly means this, or if he's just trying to butter up a player that went to the club to kind of replace him?
No, I think that he truly means it. I don't know where he was asked this question. If it was in America, I could understand a little bit of the buttering up. But at the end of the day, Pulisic is still 20 years old for another 2 months or so. He has already played 2 full seasons with Dortmund and made his debut the prior season. He's a ton of top flight experience at a really high level. Dortmund's no slouch of a club in Germany. And he was bought for $70 million. Those are all very indicative of what his potential could be. Christian, I think you were telling us you saw him play live in person, and he was just gliding by guys. I mean, I've never seen him play in person. Yeah. Have I seen him play? Oh yeah, no, I have seen him play in person. But it's just crazy. This speed that he plays at with the ball at his feet. He's just an elite level player. And if he can add a little bit of the finishing product, both in assists and goals, which he can still definitely do because he's 20 years old. I mean, yes, he absolutely has the potential to become one of the best players in the world. So Hazard, spot on here, mate.
I mean, I'm going to say it now, but this is not just stay with me. Okay. I need everyone to just stay with me when I say
Where are you going?
this.
Where are you going with this?
And just don't say anything until I finish my thought. When Messi was 19 and 20, people were saying he couldn't finish. So I'm not comparing them. I'm not saying he's going to ever reach that level, and I need people to understand that. But I'm saying that he needs to learn to finish to add that final piece to his game. And this year, he did not play as much. Sancho kind of took his role for that Dortmund team. Roy stayed healthy for once in his life, and it made a huge difference to Dortmund. They went far in the league and almost won it. They kind of blew it at the end, but I mean, that happens. But Pulisic, I think he played a lot in the Champions League as opposed to playing in the Bundesliga this year.
He also dealt with injuries at bad times as well.
Yeah, and that doesn't help, but I think that he does have an incredible potential. I don't know if he has the potential to be like a top 10 player in the world. I hope that he does, but the way he played, and like you said, when I saw him live, the way he moves is just freakish. Like he just runs right by people and he doesn't really have to do too much. Like he does a slight body feint or like do a quick move and just he's gone. And he's so quick. He's so good on the ball. And it's really fun to watch a player of that magnitude.
So Messi is very similar. He doesn't do a lot of step overs. He just does little body feints. I mean, basically they're the same player.
Yeah. That's really what I was going for. Pulisic is going to surpass Messi as the GOAT.
No, but in all seriousness, he really does have incredible potential. And so I don't think this is, Hazard blowing smoke. I think there is somewhat, there's a legit aspect to all of this. But I mean, careers are so crazy in soccer specifically. He needs to get in the right situation with the right coaches. He needs to avoid injuries. He needs to continue to develop. He needs to not let the money and the fame go to his head. I mean, there's so many things that can derail a career. I think he has the potential, but for someone to succeed at a high level for an extended period of time, I mean, a lot of things have to go right. So I know, I'm hoping.
So Matt, do you think Pulisic's comments of he wasn't brought in to be Hazard's replacement is realistic, or do you think he's just trying to brush pressure off his shoulders?
Well, I just don't think he wants to be labeled as like having the expectation of Hazard, but he is 100% there to replace Hazard. I mean, they needed a winger, and their wingers are aging, and they needed somebody to be good. So yes, he is there to replace Hazard.
But I haven't seen them play. I just saw a comment from Lampard that said he wants to play Pulisic through the middle. So I don't know.
Hazard played through the middle.
But he was so much less effective through the middle. He was so much more effective out wide, right? Or at least maybe I'm thinking when he was playing as a center striker. I don't really remember him too often playing as the second striker. I remembered him when they move him out wide, just how much more he came to life versus when Sarri was playing him as that false nine bullshit when he was just not doing well, and then they moved him out wide and he was just torching teams.
That was also right when they gave up on Morata. I think like Giroud wasn't playing, so they just didn't even have a striker that they could at that time.
So I am with you, Matt, in that I think that he obviously, with them having a transfer ban, like, yes, he is there to pick up some of the Hazard production, but I do think that he may not fit in exactly with Lampard's vision, the way that Hazard would have, where I still think Hazard was more of a winger, and I'm still not certain what Pulisic is.
Okay, so I'm going to go over to Matt's camp here a little bit more and say he was directly brought in to replace Hazard. I don't think that they are the same skill set. I think that they're both wingers, in my opinion. I think Pulisic is a winger. For the US, he's not, because he needs to be more involved in the middle of the field. But for Chelsea, I think that he'll be more important on the wing. What's happening over there?
Coppers are coming.
Okay, they're coming to get you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he is a direct replacement. And even if they change their tactical setup, or if Lampard plays a different formation and he's not out wide, he still was brought in to be the Hazard role.
Probably. Again, I haven't seen Chelsea play, so I don't know exactly what they're doing this preseason. All what I was trying to do is say that I saw one quote from Lampard one time, and I'm trying to extrapolate that and form an opinion that's contrarian to what you guys are, so that we can have a better podcast discussion.
Welcome to Dave Media. All right. So any other comments on this?
No, I'm good.
No.
All right. Well, we're going to move along to a topic Matt and I were discussing a little bit before we started live today, and it's about Manchester City's Phil Foden. Pep Guardiola has claimed that Phil Foden is more talented than Messi, Xavi, or Iniesta. He is the most talented player he has worked with. I'm going to Dave first here because I just need it to get. I mean, you went first last time.
Go to Matt. I've talked a lot.
Nah. Matt went first the first time. I want to get like a realistic view before we go to Matt. So, Dave, do you actually believe these comments?
No. No. I think that he's trying to hype up a young player, trying to give him confidence, but there is no way that he is more talented than Messi. I can't wrap my head around that, especially because Pep worked with Messi from a young age through a lot of his peak years and has seen him develop. And so, again, I understand what he's trying to do from a managerial perspective and trying to use it as a motivational tactic, but I don't think that this is legitimate. So that's where I fall down on this.
All right, let's go over to Manchester City here. Matt.
Yeah. Right. I thought there was more to that.
Nope,
right,
just no prompt whatsoever. Just name.
All right. Well, I can't believe you guys are doubting Pep Guardiola like you know more than he does.
I definitely know more. I've won the quick kick picks 2 months in a row.
There you go. Quick kick picks.
There you go.
Did I say it wrong?
No, you just really stumbled.
All right, but I mean, Phil Foden is. It sucks that Sancho left City because if Pep could have worked with him, like that would have been crazy having those two come up through our system. But I mean, as of right now, it seems like Foden probably is our best product, and I think we kept him over Sancho, who's turning out to be a top 5 youngster throughout Europe, like an under 20-year-old throughout Europe, and we kept Foden ahead of him. I think he's good. I mean, to beat Messi was ridiculous though. Like Messi was starting at this age. I don't even know how old Foden is.
16 years old, he was starting.
Foden's 19. No, Messi wasn't starting at 16.
Yes, he was. Yes,
often?
He was. He was starting often at 17, but he was starting at 16.
Okay, I remembered him at 17. Foden's 19, so the same age Messi. Didn't he win his first Ballon d'Or at 19?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So Phil Foden should probably win by the end of next year.
Finished second in the voting at 18.
That's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna be Messi, but I don't see why he can't be. Iniesta, he was so good, but like he was just so perfect for his system. You know what I mean? And that thing perfectly. Like he did it perfectly. So I think he could be good at different things, but Iniesta was just so perfect for his, what he did his whole career.
So do you really believe that Pep Guardiola thinks that? Or is he just buttering up?
It's been what?
Foden.
11 years since he's seen Messi at that age, though. I mean, he's probably looking at him now, and like he's probably like, "Oh, this is one of the better youngsters I've probably ever worked with."
But he said like about Lam that Lam was the most intelligent player he's ever worked with. Like he says this everywhere he goes. Do you think that he's just blowing hot air at the team that he's in?
I don't think so because he's never said anyone was Messi before. Like he's always said at Bayern, he said Lewandowski gets a table next to Messi, and he said De Bruyne gets a table with Lewandowski. He said nobody sits with Messi. Like this is the first time I've ever heard him compare anybody to Messi, which is crazy.
And him saying Lama is the most intelligent player he's worked with is very different than him saying Foden is the most talented player he's ever worked with when he's worked with Messi. I mean, the intelligence thing, it can be argued because there's so many different intelligent players, and intelligence is very subjective. And I think talent could be a little bit, but talent is much more easy to see for all of us. And so for him to say that, given Messi's track record of not only at that age, what he was doing for arguably the best team over the last 30 years or so, possibly ever, as a teenager at the same age that Phil Foden is not breaking into the starting lineup at City. I just don't know. I just can't believe it. I think he is just playing, manager motivational card here.
I definitely agree with that. I think he's just motivating him. I think he's a very, very bright talent for England and for Manchester City in the future. But if he was at that talent level, he'd be starting every single week. And that's just the way that it is. Matt, do you disagree with that?
Well, I think he's going to start. I think him and Silva are probably going to split time this year. I think they're like kind of phasing it out where him and David Silva, who's in his last year, said he's leaving. I think it's just going to be like a transition where he's going to take that role. And then we have Rodri to take over Fernandinho's role. And I mean, De Bruyne to come back, take his role. And then Bernardo kind of do his own. That was a weird noise. And then Bernardo kind of do his own thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it makes sense.
I mean, I really think that Foden is a great talent. I just think it's way too soon to say that he has that talent. And I guess you can just say talent straight up. He might have. But to say that he has Messi or Iniesta's talent on the ball, just because I've seen Foden play, it just doesn't look the same. And I guess because we've been watching them do it for so long and they have refined it even more since they were 19 years old, it might have adjusted our view, but it just seems so outlandish to say that. Anyone else have anything to
not
add?
on this topic?
Matt?
No.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our last topic here, and it was Shea Ojo, former Liverpool youngster, plays for Rangers now under Steven Gerrard. So he says Rangers, not Celtic, are the best team and biggest team in Scotland. Matt, what do you think about these comments? Do you agree, or is he just saying it because he plays for them?
So when I was younger and like I first started like following soccer, it was like such a close rivalry, and I think Rangers was better from when I was like really young and just started watching. I know they went like neck to neck.
Was playing for them back in the day.
Yeah, back in the Dizzay. But I mean, Celtic's been so much. I mean, obviously with Rangers like restrictions, I don't know the history and the titles. I know Celtic has more, but I know it's been like a while, and you know these last however many years since Rangers got all those like penalties, how much more dominant Celtics really been. But I mean, I know at one point it was a close rivalry, so that's all I can really say about that.
So do you think that he's just saying it because he plays for Rangers, or do you think he actually believes
Well, obviously, everybody that goes to freaking any big club says it's the biggest club in the world, and they wanted to play there their whole life.
Do you think they actually believe it, though, or are they just saying it? That's the question.
I don't know. No, that's why they leave their team. They just say things to the media.
No, he didn't say best in the world. He said best in Scotland. So between,
I mean, but yeah, because it would be ridiculous to say that's not a top. Like, that's his basically version of it. Like every time
That's his world.
Yeah, everybody that I don't know is competitive. You're gonna think you're the best team. You know what I mean?
Would you say Rangers is bigger than Celtic, personally?
No, but I don't follow it too closely.
Okay, Dave, what do you think?
So, yeah, no, I'm with Matt here. Just a little fun fact for you. Rangers has 54 titles. Celtic only has 50. So on the grand scheme of things over their history, it looks like Rangers does have the slight edge. But I think a lot of, recent, 10 years or so, Rangers has taken a big step back because of the sanctions and because of the penalties and all of that. And so Celtic is the bigger brand. They've won, 8? I think they've won 8 straight Scottish League titles at this point. And I would say that they're the bigger club, but yeah, he's a new player coming to the team that is his first season, right, with them.
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense to get in the fans' favor and to make a comment like this, but ultimately, I don't know. I don't know how much he believes it. I don't agree with him. I mean, he might believe it, but I just don't agree.
They won 54 to 50 in titles, and Celtic have won 8 in a row. So coming into this stretch that Celtic are on, Rangers were way out in front and were probably the more dominant team. I don't know specifically with Europe how they've done. I think Rangers has won a European Cup. I don't know if Celtic has.
Celtic was one of the first to win it, like way back in the day, like in the 60s. Celtic, I believe, won. I don't think Rangers has any European titles.
Okay. Well, I know that this has been a great rivalry, and those two teams were bigger on a global scale probably 20 years or 30 years ago. They've kind of fallen off with the Premier League's rise, and just the top 5 leagues in Europe have really just blown way out of the water compared to the rest of teams in Europe. But I still think that this rivalry is great. I think that Shea Ojo's comments are, I agree with you guys that he's just saying it because he's at that team. I don't know if he truly believes it. But over the grand scheme of things, you might say because Rangers have more titles, they are the bigger team. They've gone through a sanction that put them down 3 divisions and came right back up. That shows the power of the club. I don't know if Celtic could do the same thing. I assume that they could, but it's easier said than done. So I think it could be debated, and Rangers might be the bigger team overall.
I would agree. So just again, circling back, Rangers won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1972. That was kind of like its own separate tournament, but Celtic did win the European Cup, which is now the Champions League, in 1967. So they each have a continental title, but Celtics is more impressive and bigger. So I think you can make a legit argument for either team, and it makes sense that he plays for Rangers, so he's going to say Rangers.
Yeah, got it. All right. I think that may have been a short topic here. So unless you guys have anything else to add.
We do. And so circling back on the Pulisic conversation, we had a comment from Sal here. And so I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So he said, is he the only one who thinks Pulisic isn't as impressive a player as other people make him out to be? You know, comparing him to Messi, isn't that setting him up to be more critiqued than there really should be? So
Sal, I told you to wait for me to finish my comment.
So, yeah, what we were saying is that he is not going to be Messi. What we are saying is that Messi was struggling with his final product, you know, when he was at Pulisic's age and things like that. And so, again, we don't expect him to be Messi. I think we were doing it tongue in cheek, like in jest. We don't expect him to be Messi. We just know that he is supremely talented.
I don't expect him to be Phil Foden.
Yeah. Matt, any comments or thoughts on what Sal's saying here?
I mean, I fully expect him to be a world-class player. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah. Okay. There's a difference between world-class and Messi, and I think that's what Sal is saying. You know, are we setting him up here?
No one expects that. No, Messi's not even world-class. He's something else.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't think any of us expect him to be at Messi level, and I don't think. Again, we're setting him up for failure, other than Matt. Matt expects him to be that level. What we're saying is just that he legit has the potential to be a world-class player if he works on some of the things that he has in his game. And quite frankly, I can't remember the last time we had a 20-year-old American player doing the things that Pulisic is doing. Matthew.
It's never.
He's Raheem Sterling. He can't kick a ball. And he's came through the same age. I feel like very fast dribblers. I feel like he's Raheem Sterling.
Christian's gone. No, I don't think he's quite the level of Sterling.
Really?
Yeah.
Sterling didn't do that much until he learned how to freaking score.
Yeah, but I still think Pulisic is a little bit more technical on the ball. I think Sterling relied so much on his pace and dribbling ability, whereas Pulisic, I think, takes really good touches. He can combine with players at times. He does take players on 1v1. I think Sterling was a little bit more pacier and probably better off the dribble, whereas Pulisic just doesn't get discouraged if he is dispossessed. He continues to take players on and go at people. I think Sterling is a different player, and at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I still think, I can recall just Sterling just terribly hitting shots or passes and things like that. We don't see that too much with Pulisic. If anything, with Pulisic, he just holds on to it too long. I don't think there's really an element of him drastically mishitting passes and shots.
There's one thing I really freaking hate that he does. He does that scoop through ball.
Pulisic?
Yeah, often. And every time I'm like, dude, what do you kick the ball? He does that little scoop through, try to chip through ball. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a tough ball to control or really have come off. But at the end of the day, this is a 20-year-old player that we're talking about here, Sal. And so don't get Messi in your head. We were doing that kind of, having fun. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying he has a ton of potential. And I don't know, we all see it. So I'm not sure what you're seeing from him.
Don't get all Messi in your head.
There you go. Yeah. Excellent pun, Christian, to end it there.
All right. Well, I think that wraps us up here in Christian's Corner. It's been just my pleasure being here with you. I think Dave and Matt had a good time. Sal's had a good time, and I hope you did too. We'll be back after a little bit of music with Dave's Domestic Dive.
Good stuff. Anyone watching live on YouTube, go check out Her American Story. It's a podcast on the Big Heads Media Network about people that are first and second generation Americans telling their story of living in America. So that is the ad that people who are listening to the podcast will hear right now. So go check that out. Okay. I don't know what the two knuckleheads are doing there, but all right, guys, you ready?
Shouldn't talk about Sal like that. You don't know him like that.
What? I'm talking about you two knuckleheads.
I know.
You idiots.
I'm aware. Yes.
There's
Thanks.
a little bit of flossing through my head if I do this. Oh no, it came out.
This is the content you guys are going to be missing. Sal, if you're comparing him to Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey was still in college at 20 years old. Nobody knew who he was. Landon Donovan was a good player who was bouncing around with the Leverkusen first team and youth teams at that age. And I don't think he came back to MLS till he was 21 or 22. So Donovan was doing well for the national team, but not really doing anything. Dempsey was not even on anyone's radar at 20 years old. So if you're comparing him to them, I would say he is well ahead.
Stop it. Stop it.
No, I would just say he is well ahead of what those two have done, both internationally and for his club team. Because even though Donovan was doing well, he was a breakout player at 20 years old at the 2002 World Cup. And so he played really well, but he wasn't being asked to carry the team the way Pulisic has had to do since he was 19 years old for our national team. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Guys, anything you guys want to add?
Wrong.
Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it with like
who, me or him?
Me or him? Him.
Dave or Christian?
Dave?
He.
Dave or Christian?
He.
Diddle or middle?
Them. Middle. Not gonna pass up that opportunity. All right.
All right, we ready?
Restart that.
All right, let's let Christian get his giggles out.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Welcome everyone to Dave's Domestic Dive. How's everybody doing out there? You guys ready to chat about things? We got Christian and Matt cracking up, and we're going to talk about some MLS All-Star games. So we are recording on Monday, July 29th. The All-Star game is Wednesday, July 31st. MLS All-Stars are taking on Atletico Madrid. Guys, I wanted to get your thoughts on just All-Star games in general. Are you excited about this? Do you want to see something different? Matt, why don't we start with you? What's your take on the All-Star game? Is this something that you look forward to? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I actually think this is one of the better All-Star games. This might be the best All-Star game in professional sports that I know, because it keeps it competitive. Whereas the rest of All-Star games, it's a joke. Like, I don't know why people even show up. This is like the MLS is trying to, or MLS. Hey, Dave, I'm gonna do this for you. MLS is trying to prove itself.
I don't care about this. That is Christian's thing that he has adopted. You can call it the MLS. You can call it NMLS. You can call
Dave used to do this all the time.
And I have grown up. Guys, I have matured. I am 30 years old. You guys will understand once you get older. And then
I don't ever want to be that
little
old.
Things just don't matter. Matthew, continue your thought. Sorry, we interrupted.
Yeah. So it's just like I get excited to compete against the better teams. And you can say like the best of our kind of players, because I still think like the other teams do try. The guest team that comes every year, at least to some extent, and it's like at least a competitive game. And Atletico Madrid kind of has been kicking ass in preseason, so it should be. I mean, and MLS kind of seems like it's getting better each year, and I think it's going to be a good matchup.
So you don't think that, I mean, soccer's a sport where players need to like know each other a decent amount to like really be effective. And the fact that you're just getting 18 to, I don't even know how many are actually on the roster, 20 some players together to go play a club team that is one of the best in the world. Like, isn't it just setting it up for MLS to look silly? Or do you not buy into that?
I don't really buy into it. I still think, like all those players have played in so many different systems, they can try to figure it out. Like they can try to figure it out.
Yeah, in 2 days they could take on Atletico Madrid. They'll figure it out. That makes sense. Christian, what's your take on All-Star games? Are you excited about this?
No, I never really am. I think it's an interesting idea that never really blows up to the proportion that it could. I don't really love the idea of playing a elite team from Europe with our all-stars that have no tactical knowledge of how to play together other than the 3 days of preparation that they're probably going to get. And it's just, it is setting it up to look silly if Atletico come with all their stars. I mean, a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was Man City or Bayern when Pep Guardiola was managing, but he refused to shake our hand and he got really mad that hard tackles were coming in. So I think that they don't want, I mean, they want to have a competitive game to get ready for the season, but they don't want that physical play that a mid-season player, which all the MLS guys will be, is going to be coming in with. So that's the difference between the preseason and mid-season and the two schedules. So I just think it's setting up an opportunity for people to get injured for either team and could really derail a MLS team or Atletico if one of their big men go down.
Yeah, so for me, I love the idea and the concept of the All-Star game. It's supposed to be a celebration of the league. It's supposed to be fun. And so I love that they've added the skills challenge that they're doing.
Like that.
Yeah, that they're doing, I think, tomorrow night. So Tuesday, the 30th. I think it's going to be on Twitch and all over a lot of places on the internet. I would love to see them double down on things like that. And instead of making it 11-a-side competitive, All-Star versus a European team, you can still involve a European team. Make it a 5-a-side or 3-a-side futsal type of game, like skill players, like have it be back and forth, fast paced, 5-minute games, first to 3 or just stuff like that. And have it be like more of a long-term thing, have it be more fun and really double down on the other aspects of, the skills challenge or play foot golf, like do fun things like that to celebrate the league, but don't try to, I don't know. I don't love the aspect of playing a European team where they're trying to get ready for the season and you have these players that have never played together before. I get that they're trying to draw in fans of those European teams to make them bigger fans of the league, but ultimately just celebrate the league and really make it a fun atmosphere for fans of the league rather than trying to grab, audiences from other places. That's kind of
feel like there's enough teams now that they could easily make an East and West type of game if they want to be like more competitive. And I know that, like you said, they're trying to bring in the European fans in, but it's just, I don't think that's going to happen with this type of game.
Matt, you were shaking your head.
No, I don't like that because that's the same way all other American sports do it, and it doesn't work in the slightest. Like nobody cares ever, especially if it's
don't do it at all. Like, what's the point?
Then how are you going to honor people? I mean, then it's just like, I know that's how.
Then you just have a Premier League Team of the Year.
Yeah,
like we could do that for everything.
Yeah, but then that's not kind of like what we do. Like I don't know, we like to honor our all-stars, like the people that are playing well, like what, and it's a way to make money, and I don't think anyone has a problem with it. They should be celebrated.
I'm fine with the All-Star atmosphere being involved. I just think that 11-a-side, Christian, I don't love the East versus West. Again, because it's still 11 players coming together. I don't think it's going to be a sloppy game. You're going to have people not taking it seriously. Whereas like if you had a futsal 5-a-side or 3-a-side game where players could, again, small-sided, it would just be, I think, more fun and more interesting. And again, could be faster paced and all of that. And so I would much rather see something like that rather than a full competitive game. So that's where I kind of stand. Matt, anything else you want to add?
No.
Christian?
No.
Let us know your thoughts, listeners, at BT Soccer Pod on Twitter, or chime in if you're with us here. Sal looks like he is going, let's get rid of the All-Star and just give the players a week of rest. I can understand that, but the schedule is already pretty packed. I don't think that we can really have a week. The fact that it's midweek, we didn't even touch on that, but the fact that it's midweek and you have a game before and after, that's another completely asinine aspect to all of this. Give it its own weekend. Maybe make it over the 4th of July or something like that. I don't know. Try to structure it around at least a weekend and really celebrate it and have fun. That's what I would say. But let's keep this thing moving along. Switching to a different league in America, we have NISA launching. And so we've talked about this on a couple different podcasts. NISA has been an interesting league sort of lurking under the waters of American soccer. And so originally it was announced, I think 3 years ago, it was either in 2016 or 2017. Peter Wilt was starting it. It was going to be a lower division league where there would be no franchise fees. The clubs would own their own intellectual property, and it would be kind of a model more similar to what European teams do versus what a lot of American leagues do with franchises and kind of keeping things centrally located. And so it's gone through a couple different iterations, but it is finally here. Philadelphia actually has a team. I think they're playing at home the last week in October. So I'm going to actually try to go see them play. But Christian, the fall schedule was announced. I believe they have 8 teams participating in their fall schedule, and then they'll have a spring season with pretty decent expansion. I think they're getting up at least around 12 and maybe approaching 15 or 16 teams for that spring season. Are you excited about NISA? What are your thoughts on that league?
I don't know. I really don't know much about this. I don't know. I'm not really that excited because I don't know anything about it. And I mean, it's great that it's going to be growing that quickly. And I mean, if it's gaining traction, that's going to be great for U.S. soccer that they just have more players playing at a high level, and it's just an alternative, I guess, to MLS. I don't know. Is it just going
so it's a Division 3 league?
Or?
Yeah, I apologize for not clarifying that. So what do you make of it? Because there's MLS, which is Division 1. Then you have USL, which is kind of the main Division 2 and Division 3 league. NISA is launching as a Division 3 league. They've said that they're open to promotion and relegation. So what do you just think about a new league launching that is sort of different thinking than a lot of other American professional leagues?
I like that they have different thinking. I like that they're open to the idea of having promotion and relegation. I don't know if it will work, but I think if you're going,
where would they send them?
So they're
going to keep building and
they would keep building, and I think their initial thought was to partner with NPSL. And a lot of times, what happens right now is NPSL teams are plucked by USL and basically
what division's NPSL?
NPSL, there's nothing below third division by U.S. soccer standards. So it's generally widely accepted as Division 4, but there's no official Division 4 sanctioning. So they're more or less the highest level of amateur soccer.
What's USL 2?
Same thing. So more or less Division 4. It's not officially sanctioned because I don't think American soccer has a Division 4.
What's USL of PA?
You would probably be Division 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm very excited for the idea of a team or a league that is open to the idea of promotion and relegation, because we don't have that yet. It needs to start from the ground floor. It can't come in at the MLS level. It just can't right now. And if it works, then it will have an alternative, and maybe MLS will pick up on it, and the leagues might merge at some point, or they'll figure out a way to link the two. But yeah, it's very, very interesting to me that they have another league that's kind of going in a different direction.
Matt, what do you think about NISA? Are you excited, or do you just not care because it's lower divisions?
No, I think it's freaking awesome because I care about this. Where you go?
I don't know.
Hey, man, like when you're explaining it, like it sounds really cool, and especially with it being a minor or not minor, like just a lower division team, you're able to experiment more and just see kind of how different approaches can grow fan bases. I was thinking, like, if there are any Texas teams, like, I might go to an open tryout when I'm home or something, just see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, the Philadelphia team is having opening tryouts first week in August. Actually, I will be home. Christian, maybe we go.
Doing this?
No, I am not in soccer shape.
I'm not in soccer shape at all. But it's like when the gang tries out for the
yeah, D ends up being the punter. But I mean, they're having open tryouts and things like that, and so I'm really interested to see how this whole league is going to work out. I'm encouraged.
Out of?
Say again?
In Philly, where are they going to be?
They want to be in the city. I don't know if they've announced their official stadium yet. So again, this league, it seems like they are trying to get something spun up for the fall, but the really kind of serious stuff is going to happen in 2020. Again, the league is, I believe, supposed to start either in August or September. And like the Philadelphia team has no players. I don't think that they have a stadium, and very few details are announced about them. So I think a lot of the league is going to happen in 2020, but I'm really excited to follow this and, just have an alternative out there, because I'm a huge fan of MLS, but MLS isn't perfect. And I don't love that American soccer is very kind of restrictive in the way that they do things. And I'm excited about a league that is seemingly more open-minded and is going to try something different. So that's why I wanted to talk about this. Guys, anything else you want to add, Christian?
No.
Matthew?
No.
Last thing, I feel like we've talked about this a lot, and I feel like we have to just continue to talk about it. But the Leagues Cup happened this past week, and that's the tournament between Liga MX and MLS sides. Liga MX played their their full strength first team lineups, whereas MLS, outside of RSL, I believe, mostly fielded reserve sides. And LA Galaxy won, and reportedly were not happy that they won. And then the three other Liga MX sides moved on. Matthew, what do you make of the league? Did you even know that it happened? Were you following it? What do you think about MLS playing reserve sides? Thoughts?
So, like I think we've talked about before, I like the idea, but I had no idea this happened. Well, I didn't know any. First of all, I'm going to be clear. I don't think I know of any MLS games that probably happened this week either.
Fair point.
So, yeah, I mean, it gets as much attraction as the rest of American soccer to me.
Okay. All right, Christian, any thoughts from the Leagues Cup?
I think it's smart that they're playing their backup teams because this competition means nothing and it should not exist. And I'm surprised Liga MX is playing their star players, but yeah, I'm not surprised LA's upset that they won, and I'm not surprised that this is the way that the tournament is going because it's kind of a staged protest without actually protesting.
I think it shows the difference between Mexico and the United States, where they want to win soccer games, and we're just sitting here complaining about playing games. Hey, that's just my 2 cents.
Okay, I don't think. Next time. Yeah, I think that if this tournament was taking place in the middle of the Liga MX season in the fall, I don't know if we would see the full strength Liga MX sides. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but it's really right in the middle of when the playoff chase starts to happen in MLS, and for them to risk players getting injured in this somewhat meaningless tournament, I can understand the tack that MLS took, and I would agree with what Christian said. I just want them to invest more in the CONCACAF Champions League and make that the tournament that it should be, and not kind of play around with this other thing. So, any other thoughts, Christian?
No.
Matt?
No.
Sal, to answer your question about NISA, where does the funding come for those leagues? It does still work like other American sports, where when you're a Division III league, you do need a primary investor with at least a $10 million net worth. And so most of these teams that are in NISA will have investors with that net worth. And then some of their other funding will come from, revenue and things like that. But they at least have one lead investor that has a net worth of $10 million. So that's where most of their funding is coming from. Sal also chimes in, as Angelinos, we believe this is our best chance for a trophy. So I guess, Sal, you are a fan of the Leagues Cup, which is interesting to hear. Because I don't hear that too much. I mean, I still think anyone can get hot in the MLS Cup playoffs. So I don't know if that is your best chance for a Leagues Trophy. But, I mean, having said that, you only need to win 2 more games for that. Sal, what would you rather? Would you rather a deep run in the MLS Cup playoffs and no trophy, so you get to the Western Conference final and ultimately lose, or would you rather win this Leagues Cup? Let us know. We'll circle back on that when we come back. Nope, this is the last segment, I just realized, so we will not have a break, but we'll circle back on that after we take some listener questions here. So, guys, anything else to add from Dave's Domestic Dive?
No.
No. First question is from @Tybond16, so it's a 2-part. Number 1, should Ozil permanently have Kolasinac on his payroll as a bodyguard? And number 2, will this light a fire under Ozil? So, Matthew, do you want to take this and explain what he's talking about here?
So I wanted to address this when I was talking about Arsenal earlier. That was one of my main points of how their team chemistry has definitely gone through the roof with this incident. So this incident, I mean, it was a horrible thing that happened, but also kind of badass, and it was like perfect footage of it outside of the store. So Kolasinac and Ozil were leaving breakfast or lunch with their wives or girlfriends, and somebody tried to I don't know what they I don't want to put them on blast.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was. I think that Ozil and his wife were arriving at Kolasinac's house. This happened outside of his house.
Oh, so that's okay. I thought it was outside. Like they were on their way to go somewhere.
Yeah, they were arriving at Kolasinac's, and that's why then the attacker sprung, and then Ozil drove off with his wife.
Yeah, and Kolasinac is fighting people off with. They said knives. It didn't look like a knife. I don't know what was in their hands, but he whooped their ass. And
it wasn't like a kitchen knife.
What was it?
It was like I'm sure it was like a more weaponized knife, easier to conceal. It was an attacker.
They were like
It-
hitting him with it
He had a
seems like
sword. He had a sword.
a sword, small swords.
Yeah.
It's like Aladdin.
It's Ali Fabulous.
All right, yeah. So they survived that attack, and they and now they're fine. So Dave,
Okay. Okay. So do you think it's going to light a fire under Ozil for getting, flack on social media for this?
well, I think once the actual story came out, it seemed like he was just hiding in the car when the video first came out. But I think it's gonna. I mean, going through that event, I think it could, light a fire under his ass.
Christian, thoughts on this?
No, and no.
Yeah.
No, she shouldn't pay him to be his bodyguard, and no, that will not do anything to Ozil because he's just not that type of player.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm happy that the full story kind of came out. And so I know Ozil was getting a lot of flack, but really he was driving him and his wife off to safety. And the attackers actually followed him for a good 5 minutes. And he eventually pulled into a restaurant that he was familiar with. And the wait staff came out and sort of like backed him up and scared off the attacker. So this was like a really serious situation that people were making light of and saying he left Kolasinac when really, I mean, he left and the attackers kind of followed him. And so I'm happy everybody's okay, and hopefully they apprehended them. But the video was wild. Just Kolasinac is just an absolute beast. He was ready to roll. And so that was very apparent. And that's Glenn has a follow-up question here at Glenn Lawrence said, why are Eastern European dudes absolute madmen? Christian, any thoughts on that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just the environment that they grow up in. It's pretty rough upbringing. I feel like Harris Medunjanin on the Philadelphia Union has got that Eastern European vibe and looks like he doesn't take any shit from anyone. And I think it's just a product of the culture. Matt, any thoughts on that?
No, I think I agree.
All right. Next question is from at Carlisle Fan 42. He wants to talk about the situation at Bolton. They have, I believe, entered into administration. Guys, have you heard about this? Any thoughts on Bolton going into bankruptcy, which is the American basically word for administration? Christian, thoughts on just Bolton? I know we kind of recognize them, from when we started following the Premier League. They were in the league.
Yeah.
They were, they had Stu Holden who was there. And so, we kind of know him from that perspective. Obviously, it's disappointing. Any other thoughts on this situation?
I mean, it's very sad because they are a team that are recognizable to a lot of fans of English soccer. But, I mean, this is what happens when the club's not run right. And it's sad, but it's just how it goes sometimes. Portsmouth had it happen, and a number of big teams have seen this happen.
Matt, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Just kind of, and I think that's the bad side or the downside to the NISA league. When you do have pro-rel teams like can spiral out of control, and that is something that kind of sucks that can happen. So it's unfortunate, but sometimes it's really hard to prevent when you're so desperate to win, but also you have to be backed financially.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, pro-rel. I mean, there's definite upside, but there's definite downside at the end. Yeah, and that's what I was doing over here. Todd had a question on YouTube for you, Christian. How did you feel winning the Kelly Cup at Talon Energy? So I guess you didn't hear us last week.
Yeah, so thanks for shouting that out. It was really, really awesome to just be on the pitch at all, and then to score, and not me, but our team to score an overtime goal and be a golden goal, which really you don't see often anymore. And just the pure emotion of actually being able to storm the field and having some fans there. It was actually a really, really cool experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was
a rusty cup where everyone had to make sure they had their tetanus shots up to date.
Yeah, I mean, I was celebrating here on the West Coast for a team that I had never seen before, and the goal was like really invigorating. And then I got some pictures of you drinking out of the cup, and so it was awesome. Matt, any thoughts on anything
on how Christian felt?
Yes.
How did
I don't know. I was trying to involve you, Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
Christian felt good.
There you go. Just circling back on from Sal's conversation, the question that I asked him, he said if LAFC gets to the final of MLS Cup, he would absolutely take a Leagues Cup trophy all day, every day. So But he's actually dislikes San Jose even more than LAFC. And so I think that the Galaxy, two main rivals, I think he would trade a trophy
Two of the
for.
hottest teams in MLS.
Yeah, I know. The Revs would like to have a word. But all right, Christian, do you want to recap our trivia question and we'll give our guesses?
I would love to. So, do you know the one player who's in the top 4 goal scorers and assisters for the Spanish national team? Dave, I'll go to you first this time.
So it's one player in the top 4 for
yes,
both
goals and assists.
I'm going to say David Villa.
God damn it. Okay, let me say someone else then. I was going to say...
You don't have to say someone else.
No, I have to. I must.
Well, what if he's right?
Yeah.
We have the same name.
Oh my God. You do? That's crazy.
Same.
I'm going to say... I'm going to say Iniesta. I don't know how many goals he scored, actually.
Both very good guesses. Both incorrect.
The Fabregas?
Fun fact. Fabregas has the most assists. David Villa has the most goals. Another David is in both, and that would be
Silva.
Yep.
Interesting. I didn't think he would have that many goals.
Yeah, I didn't either. I saw this pop up when I was looking some stuff up, and David Silva is second in assists, which is shocking to me, with 28 over Xavi and Iniesta, right behind Fabregas, and he is fourth in goals with 35.
That's crazy.
Raul and Torres.
Does he take penalties? Is that where he's getting the goals?
He used to be a right winger like early on in his career and was closer to goal for Spain.
Okay. Matt, you're chiming in with some thoughts?
Yeah, he's garbage at penalty kicks. Great player, but no. He gets 12 yards away. Watch him just roll it to the keeper.
Okay.
Makes no sense.
All right, everyone. That is hopefully you did better than Matt and I on your guesses. And we have t-shirts for sale. So go check out brostalkingsoccer.com for those. Again, $20 or $25, depending on what design you'd like. $2 goes to support One Goal United. If you liked what you heard here, please leave us a review on iTunes. It only takes a minute or so. 5 stars in a written review helps us out so much. You can't even imagine. iTunes is kind of redoing their things, and so it would really help us out if you guys did that. So if you haven't, please consider doing that. It would again greatly help us out, and we would appreciate and love you forever. Christian, can you tell people about our Slack channel?
I would love to. So Slack is a chat room where you can interact with us and a bunch of other people who follow our podcast or just love to talk about soccer. So in there, you got a bunch of different channels. We got the top 5 European leagues. You got MLS, international soccer, transfer rumors, all that good stuff. And there's a general category where you can talk about whatever you would like. And
lots of Scrabble.
People do. Yes, a lot of Scrabble in there. I was in there today bragging about my win in quick kick picks, which Dave will tell you about a little bit later because
Might as well do it now. Go ahead, Christian.
No. I want you to say it.
How can people join Slack?
So if you want to join Slack, you can email us at bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com, or you could tweet us at BTSoccerPod. Matt, do you want to tell them about our website?
Yes, our website is a www.brostalkingsoccer.com. There you can read about our past lives, things we used to be,
Our hopes, our dreams.
Yeah.
You can read about our futures too.
Yeah. And you can find past episodes. There's also a store link there to the merchandise Dave was talking about a little bit earlier. Also an Amazon store link where it's no additional cost to you. You just go through that link and we get a teensy bitsy percentage. And that really helps us support the show.
And then people can also
drink. Oh, buy us a shot.
Dave, you're doing it wrong. You got to do a little one.
Yeah.
I drink big shot glasses.
Oh, you're weird.
Yeah. So we talked about it earlier. Buy us a shot. You can buy us. They're $3, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, you can buy us 1, 2, 10. No, they said 1, 2, 3, 10, something like that earlier. So we're gonna stick with those numbers. But again, really helps support the show.
Yeah, you can buy any amount. No ongoing commitment. If you feel generous one day and then a couple months from now, generous again, it all helps us out. And so please consider doing that. Christian alluded to this earlier. We play a game called Quick Kick Picks, where we give our predictions for the MLS matches, upcoming MLS matches. And so you can play along with us. And we had Noob on a couple weeks ago because he won the Quick Kick Picks game for June. Technically, he finished second because Christian won in June. And Christian, if you're watching live on YouTube, has a little trophy there. That is his own personal trophy that he has gotten himself for Quick Kick Picks. He won yet again in July, even though he missed 5 games. So pretty impressive performance from him. But we will have we will have Drew Deal on next weekend for his 15 minutes of fame. So if you play along with us and you are our highest scorer for a given month, you can get 15 minutes on the podcast. And so we'll be starting up in August, new month. So play along with us on all of that. Christian, anything you would like to add as champion?
It was just an honor to be on the same pitch as you, Dave, and sometimes it just happens, and I hope you keep just striving to be better, because one day you will beat me. Just keep believing in yourself. And listeners, just listen to what I say when I do the Quick Kick Picks. Please just get involved. Just watch it. MLS is fun. It's fun. You should watch it, and you should listen to me because I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it is fun. And we didn't really mention this, but we do YouTube videos that Christian is talking about called Quick Kick Picks on our YouTube channel. So you can watch us give our predictions and then leave your predictions as well. Right? It is not a podcast. It is a video, which Christian often struggles with. Sal, I was drinking tequila this weekend. Drew is chiming in here that Christian is a liar. And this podcast is unraveling as we wrap up here. The last thing that I wanted to mention,
my trophy, bitch.
I never really bring this up. I have a fantasy soccer startup. If anyone who listens to this podcast has mobile app development skills, I would love to talk to you. So reach out to us at BT Soccer Pod, and I would love to have a conversation with you. And so please consider doing that. Thank you so much for listening, listeners. Christian, any final words?
It's been an honor. Thanks for being here.
Matthew, final words?
It's been a privilege. You're welcome.
All right, listeners, thank you so much for listening. We will be back. I did our Wednesday interview with Robert Boyd, and then our Friday interview is going to be with someone who's writing a book on Venezuelan soccer. So 2 really interesting interviews. Robert Boyd has his own graphic design company, so he's doing a lot of things in American soccer, like designing crests. So look for that on Wednesday. Friday, we have a book, an interview with an author on a book on Venezuelan soccer, and then we'll be back on Sunday. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Oh, man, that was yeah. He's writing a book on Venezuelan soccer.
We have a book.
We have a book. Yes, we do have a book. Todd, Sal, Drew, thank you guys so much for all being here and interacting with us. It's so much fun. We are really going to miss this. I hope to be able to figure out a way to get these live streams back. Or I just hope YouTube, gets their heads out of their asses and implements this feature in the future. Hello, welcome home. Hello. All right, Kristen says hello, everyone. There's Christian bobblehead. You're not holding it up to the camera.
Oh, I had to put it down for a second. This is Dad.
No.
Oh,
hello.
Kristen.
There you go. That's what Kristen looks like. That's my wife.
Shirt.
Yep. Oh yeah, Matt's got on our wedding shirt. Okay, people that are still watching on YouTube, we will miss this. Twitch. So Twitch is similar to pretty much all the sites are moving to this. You can't have other people hosted on your stream unless you route it through a different service. So a lot of people use OBS. We have that. I don't want to make people have to do that. So Skype seems like the easiest thing. Most people have that. And so in all likelihood, we'll be recording on Skype. We'll still upload this. So you get a lot of these ridiculous interactions between the brothers that you're experiencing right now. We just won't be able to interact with you guys, unfortunately. And so if we're ever all together in the same room, or if we have an interview guest where they're together with us, we'll do our best to stream live on YouTube, but we will miss you guys. And hopefully you'll still watch our videos and definitely keep interacting with us. Definitely now join our Slack if you're not already, because that'll be other ways for you to interact with us. Matt, you look like you're about to fall asleep.
No, I was going to say something and then it slipped my mind. And just as you were talking the whole time, I was like, maybe I'll think of it. But
nah. Sorry, I was talking too much. Christian, you're dancing over there. You just celebrating your trophy?
Yeah.
Okay. We're all happy.
Trophy, This is the second month.
Okay.
July trophy, June and July.
Yeah, OBS, Todd, yeah, similar thing. Basically, our guests, these guys, they would have to download OBS too. We would have to get them set up. And also, when we're routing it through another service, our internet connection's already kind of spotty. You know, with Matt, we lose Matt sometimes and other things. So I just don't want to deal with that. And so I think Skype's probably our best bet for the foreseeable future. But hopefully, you know, YouTube gets their act together. All right, guys, I think it's time to get out of here. Everyone, you know, follow us on Twitter, send email messages on Slack, and we will love to chat with you. Thanks so much for watching, interacting with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon. Say, everybody.
Bye-bye.